Welcome to the deep dive, your express lane to being truly well-informed.
Ah,
Today, we're not just scanning headlines, we're taking a deep plunge into a stack of diverse sources, global news, research.
all sorts.
Our mission, to uncover those surprising connections, those vital nuggets of knowledge shaping our world, giving you those aha moments.
And we really do have an incredible array of material this week. We'll be connecting the dots between things that, well, seem pretty separate at first glance.
Right.
Exploring everything from, subtle geopolitical shifts, the really personal impacts of climate change, even the future of tech and health.
Yeah.
The goal is to get beyond just what's happening and help you understand why it really matters.
Yeah.
Give you that broader context.
Okay, let's jump right in then.
Let's do it.
So let's kick things off looking at how local issues can create these national, even international ripples, straight from the UK asylum crisis.
Okay.
We saw this fascinating example in Epping, Essex,
Uh-huh.
small town, right? 12,000 people. An English court grants a temporary injunction, removing asylum seekers from the Bell Hotel after weeks of protests.
Right. I saw that.
And this wasn't just, a local thing. It was a clear political win for the Populist Reform UK Party.
And a blow for labor.
Exactly, a significant blow. Nigel Farage, Reform's leader, he immediately welcomed it, hoped it would provide inspiration elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So the key takeaway here isn't just the court decision itself, it's how these local grievances can be sort of weaponized,
Absolutely. Reshaping the national landscape.
forcing established parties onto the defensive.
It's really striking how quickly that local feeling can balloon into a national political force.
Yeah.
And it's not just happening there. We see similar things, similar undercurrents across the Atlantic, in Canada, actually.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, Canada's Conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre, he just won a seat back. Big win, 80% of the vote in rural Alberta.
After losing his Ottawa seat. Right?
Yeah, exactly. That was a crucial rebound after that tough general election defeat to Mark Carney's Liberals.
And Kearney.
Well, Carney's been pretty skillful, repositioning his party towards the center. He's even pinched some of Poilievre's platform points.
Strategic.
Very. And he's also gained support by, standing up to Trump's threats about tariffs on Canadian exports.
That's a fascinating contrast then. UK populism gains on a specific domestic issue. Canada, Carney seems to be, blunting it?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
By adopting some positions, but also holding firm internationally.
So what's the common thread there? Or are they just really different ways populism is playing out?
That's a great question because, well, the tactics are different, but the underlying thing is often this response to perceived government failures, or maybe a desire for stronger national identity.
Right.
In the UK, it's about borders, resources. In Canada, Carney's succeeding by tackling those economic anxieties populists usually tap into, but from the center.
So established parties grappling with these pressures, either head-on or by sort of absorbing the appeal.
Exactly. They're reacting one way or another.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. A different kind of power struggle, this one in Washington, D.C., really exposes the Capitol's historic vulnerability.
How do you mean?
Well, we've seen 6 Republican governors pledging National Guard troops, up to 1,900 for D.C., to help Trump's crackdown on crime, homelessness.
Right.
Even the Vice President, J.D. Vance, got heckled there recently. And this isn't just today's politics. It goes way back. D.C.'s political vulnerability, it stems from a mutiny against Congress in 1783.
Wow, really?
Yeah, led to its non-state status. So you've got more people than Wyoming or Vermont paying more federal taxes per person than any state.
But no voting representation in Congress.
Exactly, 700,000 people. As one source put it, Congress has historically insulted the public authority of Washington, D.C.
It's quite a situation.
The insight is the very seat of American power is kind of fundamentally disempowered itself.
That lack of local autonomy is, pretty stark, isn't it?
Yeah.
And while D.C.'s grappling with that struggle for self-governance, you look over at Syria and you see the actual emergence of an organized opposition, a totally different kind of challenge to authority.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, a recent report highlights growing frustration with President Ahmed al-Sharaa. Talks about creeping authoritarianism, deep sectarian divides.
Good.
No. And horrific massacres have happened. 1,400 Alawites killed in Latakia by Sunni militias linked to Sharaa. Similar violence in Soweto, a Druze area, which even led to Israeli strikes.
So instability feeding on itself.
Precisely. But now you have civil society activists, some veterans from the anti-Assad days, actually building an organized opposition.
What are they demanding?
Constitutional reform, basically, allowing political parties more room for civil society. How Shara responds to this? Well, it's going to define his presidency and the country's future, really.
It's fascinating. D.C. and Syria, completely different systems, but both grappling with fundamental questions of authority dissent. In D.C., it's this long-simmering constitutional thing within a democracy. Syria, it's the very foundation of state power being challenged. What are the biggest parallels or maybe differences we should take from these two?
Well, the striking parallel, I think, is that struggle for representation, for voice, against an entrenched power structure.
Right. Different structures, same struggle.
Exactly. In D.C., it's a fight for democratic rights against historical legislative control. In Syria, it's, well, much more dangerous, a fight for basic freedoms, a non-authoritarian future against a violent sectarian regime.
The stakes are vastly different.
Hugely. Political dignity versus, frankly, survival and the possibility of a whole different kind of government. But both really underscore that universal impulse, to challenge authority when it feels unjust or unrepresentative.
Okay, let's pivot now to something truly foundational, that invisible backbone of our digital world, semiconductors.
Ah, the chips.
Yeah. The key to the 21st century, as one source put it so well. When you talk chips, you have to talk about TSMC, Taiwan's giant.
Unavoidable. Their dominance is incredible.
Isn't it? 2/3 of all chips made by foundries globally. And get this, over 90% of the most advanced ones.
The ones in everything. Smartphones, laptops, data centers, AI.
Everything cutting edge. NVIDIA, AMD, Apple, Microsoft. They all rely entirely on TSMC for that top-tier silicon.
And the manufacturing process itself is just, wow.
Mind-boggling.
Right.
These enormous gigafabs, $20 billion each. Clean rooms cleaner than operating theaters.
Yeah.
Their manufacturing discipline, the high yields. It's described as unbelievable, just unmatched.
It really is.
So the profound insight here, I think, is that the digital backbone of our world, it's not just complex, it's critically fragile, resting almost entirely on one company.
In a major geopolitical hotspot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Making every single chip a high-stakes game in global power.
And you've hit on the core challenge right there.
Yeah.
This amazing tech is completely tangled up with intense geopolitical risk.
Taiwan's vulnerability.
Yeah, the potential for a Chinese invasion.
Yeah.
It's a massive concern for everyone, which is why the U.S., with its CHES Act,
The $50 billion in subsidies.
right, designed to boost domestic chip making for security reasons.
Yeah.
They've pushed TSMC hard to invest heavily in the U.S., specifically Arizona.
Trying to build capacity stateside.
The plan is for up to a third of TSMC's most advanced capacity to be there. But, and it's a big but.
Challenges.
Oh, yeah. A formidable gauntlet, as you said. The Arizona fabs are dealing with lack of skilled workers, permit delays,
Bureaucracy.
and higher production costs. Chips made there could be up to 20% more expensive.
Ouch.
And it's not just economics. Trying to transplant TSMC's really intense work culture, that's proving difficult too. They're having to send American engineers to Taiwan for extensive training.
So it's more than just building a factory.
Much more. It really underscores how ingrained TSMC is in Taiwan. They actually call it the sacred mountain that protects the country.
A strategic asset.
Absolutely. And proving exceptionally hard to just replicate somewhere else.
So given all those hurdles you mentioned for Arizona workforce, costs, culture, how realistic is it? Can the U.S. genuinely replicate TSMC's top-end capabilities and really de-risk that reliance? Is building another sacred mountain even possible?
Look, it's incredibly ambitious. And the sources suggest it's way harder than just throwing money at it.
Right.
Sure, some capacity will definitely get built in the U.S., but achieving the sheer scale, the efficiency, the super advanced processes TSMC has perfected over decades, that's a whole other ballgame.
So the mountain is more than just the tech.
It's the unique human capital, that whole specialized ecosystem, the deeply embedded culture of precision in Taiwan. So, yeah, the U.S. might reduce some reliance, but a full copy, complete decoupling, that seems pretty distant, maybe even impossible in the near term.
Okay, let's explore another cutting-edge area, AI's impact on cybersecurity.
Ah, the double-edged sword.
Exactly. Because this powerful new tech isn't just helping businesses. Unfortunately, it's also seriously boosting what the bad actors can do.
Making things easier for them?
Yeah, AI has broadened the reach of hackers. Less effort, more targets. Get this. One cybersecurity researcher used ChatGPT and managed to generate working malware in just 6 hours. Even got around the built-in safety guards.
Wow, okay, that's worrying.
And it's not just theoretical. AI-powered malware was actually used in July. Attacks on Ukraine's security and defense systems.
Really? How did it work?
It could apparently generate new code on the fly to get past existing defenses.
Adapting in real time? That's scary.
And the financial side, stark. Generative AI could enable, wait for it, $40 billion in fraud by 2027.
$40 billion. Up from what?
Up from $12 billion in 2023. A massive jump.
Okay.
So the key insight, AI is kind of democratizing hacking,
Right.
lowering the bar, escalating the global cyber threat like never before.
And building on that point, this AI innovation boom, it's transformative, sure, but it had these significant, sometimes hidden economic costs, creating new pressures everywhere.
Like what?
Well, corporate spending on cybersecurity, for starters, predicted to jump by a quarter to $240 billion by 2026.
Just trying to keep up.
Desperately trying, yeah. Tech giants like Microsoft, Google, they're snapping up companies developing their own tools.
Right.
But beyond those direct cyber costs, America's AI boom is actually squeezing the rest of its output.
So, squeeze
Energy.
Yeah.
Data centers, like that huge cluster in Ashburn, Virginia, they're guzzling more than a quarter of the power from the state's main utility.
A quarter, just for data centers.
Yep. And this massive demand, it's keeping energy prices high. Average U.S. electricity bills up 7% in 2025. And that contributes, maybe indirectly, to sluggish consumption, weaker job growth in other sectors.
So basically, the huge promise of AI innovation comes with these hidden costs, escalating cyber defense spending, and this massive energy drain, creating a new kind of economic squeeze.
Yeah, it's a classic double-edged sword situation.
So how do we, as a society, balance this? Balance the rapid acceleration of AI with the urgent need to mitigate these risks and costs without killing progress?
That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our sources highlight it needs a multi-pronged approach. Robust regulation, definitely.
Yeah.
Big investment in AI safety and ethics research alongside the development.
Not just after the fact.
Exactly. And maybe rethinking energy infrastructure to handle this new demand. But the current path suggests we're still kind of playing catch-up, reacting to problems, not proactively shaping AI's impact.
Finding that sweet spot where innovation isn't reckless and society isn't left vulnerable.
That's the challenge. A huge one.
Let's shift gears again, from global tech to something deeply personal and frankly alarming, the impacts of climate change, focusing on what one source calls a burning threat to pregnant women.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Studies across 66 countries show what they call unassailable evidence. Women are more likely to give birth prematurely before 37 weeks as temperatures rise.
How much more likely?
The odds go up 4% for every 1 degree Celsius rise in the month before birth, and over 25% during heat waves.
25%, that's huge.
It's critical. Complications from preterm birth cause 40% of all newborn deaths worldwide. Survivors often face disabilities.
That's devastating.
And it hits unevenly. It worsens existing inequalities. The risk is more than twice as high for Black mothers in California compared to white mothers.
Worse.
Even worse in places like the Gambia, where women often have to work outside in extreme heat, limited health care.
Compounding vulnerabilities.
Exactly. And hotter weather is also linked to stillbirths and dangerous conditions for the mothers like gestational diabetes.
It's awful.
The stark insight here is that climate change isn't just environmental or economic, it's a profound global health crisis. And it's hitting the most vulnerable hardest.
It's truly heartbreaking to see it manifest in such intimate personal tragedies.
Yeah.
And these deeply personal health impacts are sadly mirrored by these huge, dramatic climate events elsewhere, like Europe being ablaze with record wildfires.
Those fires have been bad this year.
Record-breaking. Europe's warming twice as fast as the global land average. Temperatures up 0.53 degrees Celsius per decade since the mid-90s.
And the fire impact.
By mid-August, wildfires in the EU had burned almost 10,000 square kilometers. The average for that period since 2006? Just 2,440.
A massive increase.
Huge. Spain had to send 2,000 soldiers to fight fires that burned an area twice the size of London.
Just incredible scale.
And while temperature is clearly a factor, studies suggest maybe 60% of these fires are actually arson.
Arson? Why?
Often to clear land for pasture or to get it reclassified for construction.
Wow. So human factors are huge, too.
Definitely. But despite these clear dangers, policy solutions often lag. And there's this sort of global shift in focus to climate issues generally that might have unintentionally stalled progress on maternal health, even though the problems are so deeply connected.
That's a cruel irony, isn't it? The broad awareness of climate change may be overshadowing these urgent, specific health crises it's causing.
Yeah.
Like a disconnect between the macro understanding and the micro-level actions needed for the immediate human cost. What's the biggest hurdle in bridging that gap, do you think?
Well, I think the biggest obstacle is just the sheer scale and how interconnected it all is. Climate change isn't one issue, it's a threat multiplier, right?
Right.
So when policies get too broad or maybe too focused on just one thing, like carbon emissions, they can miss these immediate devastating impacts on health, on vulnerable communities.
Tunnel vision.
Kind of. Plus, as the sources point out, there's often political and economic inertia. Short-term gains get prioritized over long-term holistic solutions. It's frankly easier to talk about distant climate targets than to enforce tough land use policies stopping arson, or to properly fund maternal health in high-risk areas.
So facing these immense challenges, some people are turning to controversial interventions, like cloud seeding, but that's sparking a real firestorm of debate.
Ah, yes, the Rainmaker incident.
Exactly. That startup, backed by Peter Thiel, flew a plane over south-central Texas in July, dropped silver iodide into clouds to try and make it rain more.
Standard cloud seeding technique.
Right. But 2 days later, a deadly downpour hits Kerr County. And immediately, social media explodes with theories blaming Rainmaker.
Oh boy.
Atmospheric scientists quickly confirmed no, cloud seeding didn't cause that extreme rain. It was remnants of Tropical Storm Barry.
Science versus suspicion.
But that combination, government plus aircraft plus altering weather patterns, it just feeds conspiracy theories. There was even a vigilante group that vandalized a weather radar in Oklahoma thinking it was manipulating the weather.
That's wild.
The insight is clear. In this highly charged climate debate, public distrust of government, of technology, it's making rational scientific intervention incredibly difficult.
It really highlights that critical intersection, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Science, public perception, politics.
Yeah.
All crashing together when we talk about climate solutions.
Yeah.
And several Republican politicians, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, have amplified these fears of a sinister plot.
She proposed legislation, didn't she?
Yeah, the Clear Skies Act,
Yeah.
a federal ban on weather modification, making it a felony to release chemicals to modify weather.
A felony. Wow.
And 22 states have introduced similar bills. Florida's carries a 5-year prison sentence.
For cloud seeding, which, as you said, is an established technique.
Exactly. It's been practiced since the 1940s. It can increase rainfall maybe up to 15%. But this hostility, it often extends to the broader idea of solar geoengineering, too.
Deliberately cooling the earth.
Right, like injecting aerosols into the stratosphere to reflect sunlight. It's definitely controversial, yes, but it desperately needs more research so we can actually understand the risks and benefits, not just dismiss it out of hand.
So we've got this long-standing practice, cloud seeding, with demonstrable, modest results, met with intense suspicion, conspiracy theories, even attempts to ban it. For something bigger like solar geoengineering, which really does need more research, how do scientists even start a productive science-based discussion, especially with a public already so wary?
Yeah, that's the monumental challenge, isn't it? The sources suggest it really comes down to transparency, education, and crucially, building trust. Or maybe rebuilding trust.
Easier said than done.
Absolutely. Scientists need to engage with the public, not just lecture or present data. Acknowledge the concerns, the history of suspicion. It means demystifying the science, being really clear about what's not known, and involving communities in discussions about potential interventions.
A two-way street.
Has to be. Without tackling those underlying currents of distrust, rational policymaking, even for potentially vital solutions, is just going to stay crippled by skepticism and, let's face it, political signaling.
So what does this all mean for you, our listener? We've journeyed from local political ripples felt globally through the invisible but critical infrastructure of our digital world and landed on the very visible, deeply personal impacts of a warming planet. Each story, each insight, it just reminds us that the world is far more interconnected and often, well, more surprising than we might imagine.
And if we connect all these threads, bring it back to the bigger picture, it really underscores how deeply our political decisions, our tech advancements, and our environmental realities are all tangled up together.
Yeah.
The insights from these sources, they reveal a world in constant flux, where things that seem separate are actually echoes of this larger unfolding story.
Which leaves us with a final thought, maybe a provocative question for you to mull over. In this era where information is everywhere but trust seems so scarce, How do we, as informed individuals, navigate these complex, often contradictory narratives? What responsibilities do we actually carry when we engage with information that shapes not just how we see the world, but the very policies that impact our collective future?